Hi, Xenos here. Um, Hi, welcome to my talk show. So I was planning on already doing a reading, but I was gonna do it like later after I finish everything, but not anymore. Just kind of gonna do it now. Um, Again, start lights over there. Kind of blocking it, but it is what it is. But I don't have my book. I don't know where it is. Wait, actually. I didn't lose it. I just don't know where it is right now. But we're just going to get into the reading. I feel like this reading is a lot about shame. And let me kind of give a perspective on it. So, when it comes to shame, I feel like we feel that a lot because we weren't really given the proper, we weren't really allowed to be our authentic selves. And when it comes to authentic self, we often hide behind masks, we hide behind personas and XYZ. And I myself am guilty of this because that is something that I have done for a majority of my life. And especially when it comes to um, being a trans individual and not really having the right type of support that's around for expressing my authentic self and being met with more so combustive arguments about it, it just hasn't been that well. And most of the arguments were because I felt I wasn't being heard, so I would be a lot more aggressively verbal, I should say. I told you it was over there. Tomorrow stuff. Okay. Violent. Already. Popping out the woodworks. So violent. Malnutrition. Destroy and seek. Numbers. Do you need your medicine? Do you need medicine?
No, please do not.
Okay.
I can't control my cough. You might as well charge your tablet.
It's the charger that's in the room.
Is it black with them?
Yeah. It's by the bed.
By the bath. And Joya room?
Yeah. So you have pollution, mental disorders. Below, mesmerizing. And we have talked about shame before, but this is like a deep shame within yourself, mixed and refusal. And we have emotional and acceptance. One of the 5 stage degrees, actually the last one. So, before I get started with this, I want to say what brought this up was a conversation I had before I left work with a customer. And I love customers. Like, some of them can give the most interesting insight, but
The bag is like black.
not the bag. It's by the bed.
Bed.
But what brought this up was it was this lady who was talking about um a low vibrational or broken person. And what she described was mental issues, which is like mental health. And I don't necessarily think a person is broken because of their mental disorders. It's because they allowed well, I wouldn't even say allowed. The disorders overruled what their equilibrium is. And I myself, I have anxiety, depression, I have a lot of issues. But those disorders didn't break me. They only slowed down the process of my own acceptance. When it comes to acceptance, I feel like it has to be not only just the good that you do, but also the bad that you do. And we don't really talk about the bad because it's like, oh, it's evil, it's menacing, and no. We often demonize mental health because when people are not in the mental aptitude of being okay, that's leading to dissociation, that's leading to depression, where you don't brush your teeth for days, where you don't shower, where you don't you don't you literally can't function to the way that people without those disorders have. And I think that everybody has a little bit of something, but it's just not to how people are diagnosed to that degree. So a person can get depressed, but a person with depression works differently because they um, can't really fight off their depression um, in the sense of just only keeping up with their physical body. Sometimes it just leaves you drained, it leaves you tired, it leaves you to the point to where you don't really want to do anything, and you can't really be in this availability to where you are going to communicate. And I think that when it comes to those aspects of the dark side, when it comes to the shadow, we demonize those parts, even though it's nothing that's supposed to be demonized. It's part of us. It's a process that just needs to be found, like helped in a way of compassion, and they have a right to have this type of emotion. Now, how you go about that emotion, because I know that I can get destructive when it comes to some mental health. When I get manic, I kind of breeze through everything quickly. I'm always like, I have to get this done. I have to get this done. Quick, quick, quick. And then I just go into a burnout. And that's where I just kind of, I can't really talk to myself. I don't really want to interact with people. And when it comes to my selective mutism in general, I just can't really form any words other than something that's a simple one-word response. Uh, and when I'm talking right now, it's not because of my ability to talk or a lack of. It's more so I have a message that I need to get out, so I'm going to open my voice, you know. Um, but when I do go into the mode of selective mutism or just being muted, I can't really help that. That's something that's curable, but it's something that's going to persist. It's just like autism or ADHD. You can't get rid of those things, they're part of you. So you just have to work and commingle with them and not really have them overrun how you are, because I do have ADHD, and it leads me to being jumping from one hobby to another, when it jumps from um, doing work to just zoning out somewhere else, and then, you know, it's a whole thing. And if you know, you know. But it's not just those things, but if you know, you know. And so let's get into this. It's violence, malnutrition, numbers, sickness. And I think oftentimes we feel like when we're um, let me rewind real quick. So this lady, um, we were talking, and she said something about how God had made man and woman, and they're supposed to be there for marriage and procreation. Um, and I feel like, yes, and what she said was the foundation of life. But I feel like how we view the foundation is different for everyone. Because when I told her that, I'm a trans individual, so I don't really have the idea of just aspiring to marriage. I don't really have the idea of just laying with someone and making kids. I don't have that idea for myself because it's not in the moment right now. I do think that I could have those things, but it's just not where I want to be right now. It's not my end goal, because my end goal is for me to build not only myself up, but to help people that are around me. And the only way that can happen is if you are being honest with yourself and what you and who you are, who your soul is. And I don't like saying spirit, because I feel like spirit is for the ethereal beings that you cannot see, which is like the angels, the demons, which is like ghosts and ancestors, stuff like that. That's what I feel like a spirit is. Because if I leave my vessel, if I leave my body, that's how my spirit could linger because of something that I didn't finish, or my spirit could linger if I or my spirit could transverse where my soul is going to head to in the next life, you know? And I guess they are in some way interchangeable, but I feel like soul is the most appropriate for me, because I feel like the soul, you know how they say the eyes is the mirror to the soul? I really do feel like that is, because although we have our internal organs and all of that shit, I feel like when it comes to our spiritual body, our soul is at the center of it. Um, and we each have different perspectives, but what threw me off was when I was talking to her about my transness. She said it was because of a chemical imbalance or some sort like that. But my idea is, if it was a chemical imbalance, then that would have been solved already. Um, and if this has been something that's persisting for years, which is like what many trans people are, they don't feel right in the body that they are presented as, um, or how others see them. So they make the changes to where it's more comfortable for their soul, for their body. And what was it for me? Well, I say that um, I say that I'm a trans man, which is how I felt in previous years. But I've more so involved to being non-binary, which is like not really a man or a woman. I'm just a being. I'm just here to serve my purpose and to move along my day. Um, and the thing is, she said, if somebody can't tell who or what you are, um, on the surface level, then there's something wrong with that. Which is like, it doesn't make sense to me, because why are you so focused on the surface when we need to go deeper and see the inner being of the person. If we're so focused on the surface, we're just going to get surface level things. If we focus on the deeper inner parts of a person, that's where we see the full truth of who they are and who they show us, who they present themselves as. Because on the surface, somebody could present differently, but their soul could tell a different story. She said I was ambiguous. She didn't know if I was a man or a woman. That's how I like it. I don't like being, put in categories of what is and what isn't. Even though I say that my pronouns are he, him, but that's only to people that I do not associate with on a regular day to day basis. That's for people who I don't really, talk to, or who I don't see as in my inner circle. When it comes to who I am, my pronouns are he and they, or they and he, interchangeable. You know, he can go to the park. They love the park. It's that simple. The pronouns are not that hard to understand. And I feel like people are so focused on your physical body and what you were born as that they don't realize that the body is only part of who you are. Your body is only a vessel that you are working through. So what you do with your body, that is your own prerogative. Who you are, that is not just your prerogative, but it's something that people have to respect. Because, and she gave this example, which is like, if I say I'm blue, and I want to be blue, which is like, it doesn't correlate to gender and sex. You can't really, it's like saying that, the sky is in the grass. It doesn't make sense. The sky can't be in the grass. If you're talking about like a reflection, which is like the Mulan song, "When Will My Reflection Show?" If you're talking about reflection, because the tarot cards that I'm going to use, if they pop out, then I will definitely give an explanation for it. But if you're talking about a reflection, when you look into the mirror, who are you actually reflecting? Are you reflecting yourself, or are you reflecting a persona? When you look at your own self, who are you in that line, in that lineage? Who are you as a person? Who are you as a soul? Who are you as a being who is here on this earth, not just because there's good and evil and you have to fight those things, but because what you do from everyday life, that is always going to affect somebody. That is always going to affect you. So if you're here to do good, then be good. If you're here to do bad, then you're just going to be bad. But that doesn't have to be that way. Some good people turn bad, some bad people turn good. But what I love about this card is below. It has above. As above, so below. So when we talk about as above, so below, it's more so of just like how I say there's two-sided coin to everything. When people talk about Jesus and God and stuff, Christianity, the whole it's not a myth, but I'm not saying like it's a myth, but the whole how we speak about the whole religion. That's the word, the whole religion. So when we talk about God and Jesus Christ, Mary and all of them, so the devil and God, they are two sides of the same coin. The devil isn't here just to break you from a path. It's here to teach you lessons. That's what the fucking lessons are. When you are going through karmic debt, it's not the devil trying to take you from being good. It's just the devil in their own way being like, these are the lessons you need to learn. Not only that, but God is, in a sense, overlooking and make sure you're okay. How the angels are watching over you, making sure you're okay. They're two sides of the same coin. And albeit the whole rebellion thing, I get that. But in our own way, we are all fighting addictions. We are all fighting our demons. But when we actually look at those things, they are changeable. They are fixable. Well, I don't want to say fixable because you can't just up and fix something like that. I want to say it's amendable. When we look at our inner core, which is like the shadow and the ego, it is not just something that should be demonized just for the sense of just like you shouldn't be X, Y, and Z um, because this religion says so. You shouldn't be X, Y, and Z because this is what God says so. God is loving in every way. So if you're saying that your God doesn't love somebody because they don't dress a certain way or they don't look a certain way, that says more about you than it says about God. Because in my own personal experience, God has never said that to me. Now, I'm not saying I hear God or anything, but if it feels right to me, it's not a chemical imbalance. It's not something that's just, oh, it's just in my head. It's who I am. It's my body. It's how I perceive my own self. Because that has always rang true for me. That has always been fitting for me. And it took some time, but here I am, still proudly saying that I am a trans person. Because that's how I always been. And to my knowledge, Jesus hasn't been somebody to turn someone away because they're lesbian, gay, or transgender, or they dress in drag. No. That is what was told so the religious leaders can gain control over what should fit in the box and what isn't. Because anything that doesn't fit in the box is evil. We're not meant to be in boxes. We're not meant to stay in closets. We're meant to be free people who are enjoying each other's companies regardless of what or who we present as. And mesmerizing. Remember, at night, it's night. Always this card come out when it's nighttime. I never do readings in the day, actually. I don't know. Anyway. But going on, mesmerizing and memorizing. Would destroy and seek with grieving. Another part of the 5 stages. When it comes to destroy and seek, I don't think we're supposed to, just get rid of everything. We're supposed to take away what is beneficial and leave what isn't beneficial behind. So when it comes to my mental disorders, my own bad habits, PTSD, CPTSD, when it comes to my own survival, what is the word? Not survival instinct. Survivalist? Survival mode. So, if you don't know what survival mode is, it's when you are only seeing that nobody is helping you and only you can help yourself. Which, in a sense, is not wrong, but it's also not right. Because we are meant to be on here for connections, which is something that took me a long time to understand. And not only just for the fun, romantic connection or the flings, We're here to build long-lasting connections that will last or transpire past a lifetime even. And when it comes to taking away and building up, my own survival mode has left me to where I just couldn't trust anybody because not only were my boundaries being disrespected, in a sense, I wasn't even respecting my own boundaries because I let my own self be taken over by who she was, who my parents wanted me to be, who other people saw me as, instead of listening to my own self and being like, hey, this is who you are. Nobody can tell you what you are, only you can. The same thing that Miles Morales had to go through when it came to him being Spider-Man. When Spider-Man's whole story is his uncle dies, a captain that he knows and is very close to dies, and he's just destined to live this life of just having death all the time. And then this is probably going to be a spoiler, but if you haven't watched Across the Spider-Verse, I suggest you should. Both movies are great, honestly, but the whole thing is Miles's dad is supposed to die, and the whole basis behind Miguel trying to come after Miles is because Miles is like, I don't have to keep myself in this same fate. Since you told me I need to do what I can to go save my father, instead of listening to you, somebody who's just going through letting his own grief control what other spider people should do, or how they should let something play out because it's a canon event. Canon event, you know? What we see as a canon event is something that was already laid out in the plans. And I always think that we are supposed to deviate from the plans in some way because it helps us learn lessons. It helps us understand not only parts about ourselves, but about other people and how that relates to us. Mixed emotions. Refusal. I'm hearing like, don't go down without a fight. Don't go down without a fight. And honestly, pollution, downgrade. If you let yourself be told who you are supposed to be and what you should and shouldn't do, you're only downgrading who you are. Because if you know something feels right within you, which is like being your authentic self, and I say this not because of, you know, of defiance. It's more so just like you can't allow other people to make you. You have to make yourself. And this also ties in with another cartoon I had watched called Arlo the Alligator. But his father had said, it was in that song, you gotta make yourself, don't break yourself, you know? And while he was saying this, he was literally eating out his fucking son.
I'm gonna fight you.
Okay.
Look.
He was literally nice. Scrappy.
Yeah, scrappy.
So not only that, like learn numbers, malnutrition and malfunction. Another thing about it is when I think about mental disorders, I also think that it is a malfunction within our brain, but our brain is only going off of the survival that, because our brain is, it has a conscious and it has a subconscious. When it comes to the subconscious, it's stuff that is just pushed to the back and we no longer think about it. We can have it come back, but they kind of play out in intrusive thoughts or something that you just continue to push back further because you don't want to think about it. At some point, you're going to have to face the subconscious. And when it comes to the conscious, it is stuff that is already, you know, that the information that you were receiving at the moment. And it could be there for a while and then just flip out, but this is information that you are receiving at the moment. Emotional. Mixed emotions, you know. Could be a water sign. And depression is on the back. Another stage. And I think that's the first stage, actually. And grieving is the second stage. Don't quote me on that. Yeah. Anyway. So, I feel like a lot of what we go through in life is just lessons, even though the lessons can be hard. They are only lessons that help us. But when it comes to rewriting your story, you are allowed to do that. You're allowed to start from scratch. You're allowed to change how you are, because we are always changing in some way. We don't have to stay the same. And I feel like when people are so stuck on the one fixation of what we should and shouldn't be, that it negates the access that we will have for ourselves, when it comes to being a whole being. We're not meant to. There was this fucking song, Dos Oreguitas. So he was saying, in a world that never stops changing. You have to listen to it, but it's actually a good song that talks about how, you know how the cycle of a caterpillar is. They're an egg, caterpillar, they go into a pupa and they turn into a butterfly. Oreguitas means butterfly. Oreguita means butterfly. Dos oreguitas means two butterflies. But when it comes to a caterpillar, we are at the roughs. We are at the stage where we are at the beginning, and then we go out of the egg, and we're at the stage to where we're on the ground, we're crawling around, and we're just learning about these new things. And then we go into the stage to where we're morphing into something different, something that's beautiful. It's not to say that we weren't beautiful before, but we're allowing our own changes to fall through instead of holding them back. Because at the end of the day, the only person you have to fight is with yourself. And even then, you don't have to fight yourself. You just have to learn to know yourself and understand that you are a being who's learning to be humane. It's not even just a human experience. It's just a humane experience. Being fair, in whichever way you go through. It's a two-way street. Two sides of the same coin. As above, so below, you know? And this is also funny because I remember there being, there was this video that was like, this person, I think, was in purgatory, but there was two paths that they could go to. It was heaven or hell. And they say that those places are actually the same, to where hell, you're being tortured, X, Y, and Z. And heaven, you're just bliss all the time. You're always happy. And then there was a secret third option. And honestly, the way I see it is, I'm not set on going to heaven or hell. I'm set on just living an experience and experiencing. Sometimes I stay in my shell, but that's just how I feel sometimes. Other times I might go out and do something, you know, that's spontaneous, but I'm just slowly coming out of my pupa, you know? I'm slowly drying my wings and trying to spread them like a butterfly, you know? We all go through those stages. I don't know why I'm starting with oracle cards first, but you know, fuck it. Waxing moon. Now is a good. Hey, 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 hey. How the fuck is my battery at 20%? Shit.
Why are you trying to record?
I'm recording, that's when I'm on live.
Oh. Let me see.
No. Stay out the camera. So let's continue on. It's a little crooked, but y'all okay. So you have cat. Oh. So you have cat. Make time to focus on your own spiritual well-being and connect to the metaphysical world around you. Waxing moon. Now is a good time to focus on achieving your own personal goals, and they're both the same color. You know, this ombre, purple, pinkish color. Crown and third eye. You know. And you have moon in Aries. Remain sensitive to others to avoid confrontation. And I want to say, like, that wasn't the only conversation I had with her. She actually did give me some good insight, and I have to send her. Yeah, my phone temperature got too high or something. But I'm gonna continue because I'm not done. You know. But what I left off as at when talking with her, she did give me some wonderful insight on a lot of stuff that I didn't know about the Black community and a lot about ancestors. There was some stuff I was and knowing about, but most of it I just didn't have that knowledge. Specifically, when it comes to the White Jesus, which I know he was the lover of Leonardo DiCaprio, not DiCaprio, Leonardo da Vinci. No, it was some artist named Leo. Okay, I can't fucking remember. I think Leonardo was actually his last name. I could be wrong, but you know, oh well. It was also something that I was thinking about earlier when it comes to being wrong. I feel like in any stage, I don't never say that I'm always right because I know that in some ways I can fall short. I know in some ways I can make a mistake along the way, but mistakes are only mistakes if you learn from them. Um, you know, in some ways you have to learn the lesson, and if it has to be by the hard way, then hell is going to be by the hard way. So you have the Knight of Wands. The Wheel of Fortune in reverse. The other card is in reverse too. Excuse me. Chariot in reverse. The Star. Nine of Wands in reverse. You are having a lot of reversals. I feel like there's a lot that's being stripped away. You have the Four of Swords and the Knight of Wands in reverse. And on the back, you have the Hermit. Temperance on the front. Okay. So, yeah. I definitely feel like there has been needed a pause within your journey. I was trying to make sure it's still recording, but there has been a pause within your journey because you see how the phoenix is closing in on the fire, if you can see it, you know. But is that a peacock? or phoenix. I don't know. I'm gonna stop questioning. I'm just gonna say that it's a bird that has flaming wings, and maybe it could be both. Anyway, I see. Well, the star is literally looking up at the King of Swords. So it was this desire that was burning within you that you had to take a sit down on, especially with the Hermit, because the Hermit is a person that goes within and try to take a break from the outside or the physical plane in order to see, are they okay? Are they currently in this mode of just being eye level with what they're trying to do, you know? And also filled with the Chariot and the Wheel of Fortune, it's more so of not you lacking, it's more so of just, it's a need for you to take a step back, slow down, and actually get on an eye level with what you need and what you want. Um, and with the Nine of Wands, that's the Baba Yaga, isn't it? Yeah, it's definitely her. But it was in reverse. And in some way, you have the Four of Swords. You have felt trapped. You have felt, maybe now you still feel trapped or entangled in your own mind, in your own, feeling like you have a mess to sort through. But I don't think it's as bad as it seems. It's more so of just shifting your perspective and being like, hey, this is something that doesn't bring me joy, so how can I fix that? Or how can I change that? Let me correct myself. How can I change that? This is something that I need to do, but I feel like I don't have enough time. And then constantly overthinking about what it should look like, what it should do, and stuff like that. And we oftentimes overanalyze um, the next step. But when it comes to the next step of things, you can't really focus on how you're going to get there or what it is. It's more so going with the flow and doing the best you can at the moment that you have. At the moment. Because moments aren't forever. They're only moments. They're only part of. That's another thing. What this lady said. Feelings are temporary. Um, and so are thoughts. In my own perspective, I feel like if I feel like in some ways, some of those thoughts and feelings can be permanent, but it's about what type of permanency. If it's something that is integral to you, if it's something that you strongly identify with, and not just because it's a destructive habit or something that is going to steer you the wrong way. If it's something that feels right to you, then that is a thought or feeling that is ingrained with you permanently. Now, those thoughts and feelings can change over time and turn into something else, but whatever that feeling was, it's not. It, it can. It, let me give a good example. So, how I figured out that I was non-binary, it was because I realized that I was still putting myself in a box of what a man should be. The same way I was putting myself in a box when I was so deep in the closet and deeply internally shamed about my transness. I was putting myself in a box of what a woman should be. Even then, when it came to being a trans man, I was putting myself in a box that was kind of how a cis man is expected to be. And me being non-binary, I don't really conform to the gender stereotypes or how we should or shouldn't be. Um, and I think that when it comes to boxes, they're not supposed to stay closed. They're supposed to stay open. You know how how SpongeBob was like, imagination. It's kind of like that. You can't really like stay in this closed off space because you were just told to do that. You have to find your own space and your own box to climb into and look out through, you know? It's like how Squidward was trying to see what they were up to, but SpongeBob and Patrick was just having fun. And then when Squidward gets in the box, he's like, I don't get it, you know? He doesn't get it because he's not really seeing past the physical. He's only seeing like it's just the box. But imagination, like how a child's imagination is, it's so vast and so deep that we cannot fully comprehend how that is. We can if we go back to how we were as a child, but if you really didn't have the availability to just be a child, that's going to affect you. So think to yourself, to your inner child, to your inner teenager, if I did have this healthy set of boundaries, if I did have something that was healthy, how would I act? How can I navigate myself to act this way that is okay, you know? And I say this all the time because I strongly feel like I have this disconnection with my inner child because um, in some ways I shame my own self because of how others saw trans people, how others perpetuated how because I dress feminine, I can't be a man. What does that say about gay men, gay cis men? You know, what does that say about them? They can't be a man because they like pretty dresses, because they like skirts. No. And even then, when we think about it, how a masculine woman is, um, and being gay doesn't mean that you're going to be feminine because some gay men are masculine as hell. The only thing about it is if you're masculine or feminine or somewhere in the in between of just being androgynous, that is up to you. Your gender and your sex does not define who you present yourself as because we're not meant to be a single thing. We're not meant to be singular. We're meant to be vast, different, and unique. That is the whole point of life. That's why we have so many different types of species of insects, of dogs, of you know, cats and shit. You know, cats, we don't even know what the fuck their their not species, but their breed is most of the time because they're so mixed up. When we see a black cat, we're just like, oh, that's a black cat. Oh, but this is my dog. It's a Cane Corso or Jack Russell or some shit like that, because those are easily identifiable. But in some ways, when you see dogs that are mixed, you never know which is which. That was a weird example, but you get what I mean, right? Just take that time to literally figure out, are you actually living your authentic self? Do you actually see yourself as being authentically presenting as you feel you should be? I'm going to use these cards because I actually love these cards. Spirit Song, Tarot. Tarot. Either way. Tomato. Oh, excuse me. And honestly, I feel like when it comes to people who aren't very accepting of somebody for being XYZ, that's oftentimes why more than not you see suicidal ideation and suicidal rates go up within that particular community. And it's not only just with the LGBT community, it's with people who have mental disorders who don't have the right support around them to help with that, or people who are within a racial community. Um, and the way that we view that as though they're weak because they did this. No, they're not weak. They just had enough of how they were being, so they decided to take matters into their own hands. And maybe it wasn't the best idea, but it was their decision. And I say this because I had a lot of suicidal ideation when growing up, simply because of who I was and how it was being shamed. Um, and I didn't really grow out of it. I just stopped thinking of myself as a villain because I wanted to have this be done to my body, where I wanted to be presented this way. I just stopped thinking of myself as such a bad person for wanting those things. And more often than not, suicidal ideation, that stuff is mostly due to depression, anxiety, and shame. All kind of bundle up together. We have the Knight of Feathers, Knight of Swords. Didn't you just have the Knight of Swords? No, there's a Knight of Wands. King of Wands. It's a lot of... You have the World.
Charlie. Oh, it's someone else? Who is that?
The Shaman. I'm not sure which that one is when it comes to the major tarot, but you know. The Chariot. I think this is in reverse. No? Okay. The Star in reverse. That's interesting. And you just had the star up right over there. There's a reason. I'm sure of it. And you have the Ten of Shells, Ten of Cups in reverse. On the back you have the Queen of Acorns. I think Acorns is Wands. Boy. Hey. I know. At first I was like, Prince just barking the bark because like the neighbors.
Prince, wait. Oh, you on live?
Yeah.
Oh, live you on. You know, I get like 7.k views on my live.
I don't get no views. I just be posting.
Oh, no, you need to get on my live. Especially with your readings and all this majestic stuff, like unicorns.
I
I
love
don't know, I feel
unicorns.
lovely, so I gotta say I was right now. But part of me, you don't know. Just don't worry about it.
I'm gonna send you my channel when I finish.
Alright, what you live on?
Oh, YouTube?
You probably,
I don't be on Facebook like that.
I don't go live on Facebook.
Where you go live?
It's an app called Live Me.
Live me?
Yeah. It's not a dating site. It's actually...
Just go live? Just go live? Type shit.
And millions of people is watching. Awesome.
Send the junk to me. I got you.
And I also go live on Scout. That's a dating site.
Huh?
Yeah, Scout is a dating site.
Scout.
Just log in on Facebook. And back on. I don't text nobody, hardly, rarely, you know. We text, but
It's just going live.
yeah, I just go live on it. Bring me more money than what I do, you know, my profession.
Type
But
shit.
it'll be, you know, it'll probably be different for you, and you probably meet new people, more weird people like ourselves.
Type shit. I'm gonna try it out. Send those junk to me.
Yeah, but that's all I do. And I hit them with a little emoji, and I be like, you, little caption, get here. And then you gotta make sure your face is visible. If they don't see your face, you can't go live. You go red and gray, red and gray. Okay. There we go.
Type shit.
Yeah, it's actually amazing. They give you diamonds and little stars.
Oh, it's kind of like how TikTok be having the roses and shit.
Yeah, they send you roses.
The what?
Oh, we got a viewer already.
They
Hi.
could be having the what? I'm gonna be watching.
You know TikTok
Yeah, and
Live.
see the thing about this right here, it's an adult site. So as you put her
Oh.
face and her body in it, I'm gonna get banned.
Oh.
She can't get on it.
What y'all talking about?
Just as what this live.
Yeah.
Just a live site. It's not for kids though.
Yeah.
It's not like TikTok. It's not, you know.
What's that? TikTok?
It's
No,
for
it's-
adults.
It's for adults.
YouTube?
Okay,
Nope.
any site that you got on your phone and that you own,
It's for kids, but
That's
this
for
site
kids.
isn't for kids.
this site is not for kids and it's not on your phone and you wouldn't be on it.
Yeah.
That's all. We're not talking about nothing different, but we're talking about math. Simple math.
No, y'all are not.
Four.
Hey.
We're talking about 2 plus. Oh yeah, I don't understand. This is what a
Wait.
light. This is what a light is, and this is a light.
I ain't gonna lie, I can use my goddamn soul. Shit. Oh, Junior got one.
Uh-huh.
Junior got a light.
I got a light.
Oh. Wait, what did you say?
The light is on here in this dark section. I don't like the dark like this. I'm crazy as hell.
Understandable.
He like, what's going on?
So, Night of Feathers, action, focus. The world, fulfillment, celebration, shaman, divine wisdom, spiritual powers. The chariot, discipline, determination. The star, peace and healing. And 10 of shells, blessing and well-being. And on the back you have Queen of Acorns, passion and creativity. So I really think it's interesting how the star came out in reverse to here, but it's in reverse with the world. So in order to get this fulfillment and celebration that you want, you have to go through the healing. You have to start finding peace, not only within yourself, but what's around you. And I know some things are easier said than done. Believe me, been there, done that. But when it comes to your inner self, you have to realize your inner self isn't here to just cause issues or to fight you. It just wants to be heard. The same thing with your shadow and ego. We oftentimes villainize the shadow instead of seeing that it's only a part of you that wants to be heard. That's why I actually love the Horror Tarot, because this really gives me visual representation of the shadow. That's
So
one of my
who's
decks.
the shadow? See,
The shadow?
yeah, who's the shadow?
The shadow is the parts
That's
of
the
you.
devil.
No. The shadow is part of you, the same way the ego is. The shadow is the part of you
I
that
know what
you
my
keep
ego
hidden.
is. I know what it is. 'Cause it's a day.
Did you move those?
Did I lose? No. I haven't touched
What the
none.
hell?
See,
Yeah, maybe it is. I
that's that
probably.
psychedelic
I-
shit. I ain't with
I'm
that.
like, wait a minute.
Wait
Oh.
a minute. I ain't touched nothing. I swear to God.
No, those.
Hell no, I ain't touched nothing. I ain't with.
Oh, that's
See,
so wow.
the devil must be
And
with
then
me.
Moon and Leo.
I keep telling y'all, the devil thought he had me. Oh, but hell no.
So, the shadow is just the parts of you that you keep hidden. Like, say,
The darking part. That's the logical right there, though.
it kind of deals with mental health too. But the ego can also deal with that. But the shadow is more so the parts of
See,
you that
most
feel
people
destructive.
can't admit that they have a mental problem.
Oh, I didn't admit it for a while.
See,
Trust and believe.
Most people can't admit that. You've never met a normal person that would just say, "Oh, I'm retarded. I'm slow. I have Down syndrome. I have
Yeah.
dyslexia or some shit." You never met nobody that's just off the muscle told you that they had a different type of chromosome from you.
I don't mind telling people that because it's
I
like,
tell them all the time,
why?
I'm fucking retarded. Shit.
Why do you need to hide those parts? Why do we always have those?
Now that I feel like when you know it, know that you're retarded or a little off, that's when you show it the most. That's when you can't speak up on it the most because you already showing it.
Yeah.
And now nobody's talking to you again because you didn't show it in front of them and they weren't ready for it.
If they ain't talking to you, that has more to say about them than you.
Because they were fucking retarded. Fuck what they thought and what they got to say. If you ask me every goddamn body retarded, I'm retarded, you retarded, she's retarded, he's retarded, and they's retarded. What's going on with you because you want to feel what you want to feel about killing another human being? And there's a lot of shit going on with me, and I want to tell a lot of people. But see, they did some shit.
Yeah.
See, once you know God, you ain't got to do it. But see,
Karma always gonna come around, good and bad.
karma just another bitch that want to fuck a nigga. That's all karma is.
Karma good and bad though. There's no equal.
That's what I'm saying. Cause I can fuck a bitch with it. No,
You
that
like
my nigga finna eventually switch up. He want this whole more than he want me. Yeah. We both hoes. Every time I've been there. That's good karma, right? It's supposed to be anyways.
If you consent to it and if you like it, then I'd say that's good karma. But
Yeah, I
if
like
you switch
it.
up,
Ain't
then
nobody tell you to
that's,
switch the fuck up like a little punk
that's-
ass bitch.
that's bad karma. Not for you. It's gonna be bad karma for him.
Yeah, because I forgot to tell you about these little minor mishaps with the human beings that ain't come with no fucking label and no instructions.
I don't think we ever come with that. That people think that we do because they think everybody is supposed to be the same, but no, we're not supposed to be the same. We're all supposed to be unique in our own way.
That's what I had. What happened to the fucking uniqueness? I know I'm weird. I'm weird as hell. I can admit this shit. I'm a weird motherfucker.
I like being weird.
I'm a weird motherfucker. I like being weird. Weird is awesome.
Yes.
Because I'm different. I'm different. I'm different. I'm different, motherfucker. I'm different. Never get to do that for me. Never do it. These niggas got my life.
Hierophant? It's the Hierophant.
That's what the fuck I did for staying up there gossiping. The little boys. They're my friends.
Shit.
Them little niggas my friends.
So, back to y'all. We have the
You
nomin.
watch the SpongeBob?
So, I see that you and you're flowing through. Because I feel like when it comes to your own deep emotional levels, it's more so of being.
I was supposed to go, but
And it's funny because
You know, because you're saying you were supposed to go, but you didn't go, so I didn't go.
the 10 of shells and the stars looking back at each other.
SpongeBob, or you just watching the TikTok voice along thing, or whatever it's called?
So I kind of see you're at a standstill when it comes to
Hold up.
wanting to move away from them.
Your name is broke. Adrian.
But I feel like with the Queen of Acorns, you're going to go back to that passion. You're going to go back to what you know to be true, what you feel within yourself.
This is what I know to be true, and I always go back to it.
I mean, what does your inner child see? What did your inner child see for you? Outside of all the trauma and everything that was going on.
You asked me
What did
outside
they
of all
see?
the bullshit that I went through. Players Club, Lisa Ray McGuire, Avery Junior's Bachelor Players Club, Dollar Bill. Beside all the bullshit, yeah, we pretty much outside myself here. Lisa Ray McGuire. Maria McCoy. For some odd reason, I love this lady. And you know, she's Brenda on 2 parts. And I mentioned it.
For real?
Yeah, that's Brenda.
Damn. I did not know that.
I love Lisa Ray.
Well,
it's just her movies. I know they different from
help me.
no, there's nothing wrong with that. I watch cartoons. I got shit.
I'm literally watching the cartoons right now. I'm watching SpongeBob over here.
I be watching.
Family Guy.
I watch like
What's Family Guy?
cartoons that sing and shit.
Well, I be putting it on all the time. What you and D3 don't know, never like watching. When y'all been
But
playing
she
around
likes
with us.
watching South Park.
Oh!
That's why I don't understand.
I didn't know. I would actually watch South Park too. Them the little niggas that said fuck, fuckity, fuck. Yeah, I watched it too.
I've been watching that.
Oh.
You don't want to watch the bad stuff I watch, but you watching other bad stuff. All I got to say is fuck.
SpongeBob is bad. South
Leave
Park
it
was
alone.
bad. I'm still watching South Park.
Media, but they ain't like the little dingling show that we
I still
know
love
about.
South Park.
Oh, Big Mouth. Yeah, Big Mouth is a whole different world for
That's a
them.
different ball.
That's all, yeah.
You can watch Big Man,
Yeah.
actually.
That's a whole different thing. Maybe when you get
What
like
is
older,
in the Big Mouth?
like
Exactly.
a teenager, but when you right where you are right now, you're fine off of it.
You can't watch it.
Cause that show talks all about
Even though it's cartoon characters and it's animated,
it's real life shit.
it's not nothing but penises and coochies.
Yeah.
Every human,
they-
every other human.
They
You
talk
can watch
some stuff
Ricky
that's
and
for
Morty.
real. Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
I can watch them in Ricky and Morty.
Certain episodes, they
Yeah.
get rough too.
Yeah.
They get rough.
Yeah.
You know what? All you need to watch is Adventure Time.
South Park.
Yeah, Adventure Time's good.
No, I'm
So long
watching
as
South
hell.
Park. I'm gonna watch South Park.
And you can squeeze in just one of the couple episodes. Of
Just let me watch some South Park.
I mean, if you want to. If you want to. They literally adults acting like kids.
They ain't
Just
on no
doing
Adult Swim,
some-
they on Central Park.
Yeah.
No, they
Adult
was literally
Station.
trapped
Yeah.
in a kid's skin, wasn't they?
Yeah.
Are they trapped in some type of kid body?
No,
No.
that's some grown little niggas.
Grown, it's grown
They're
men.
midgets. Fuck.
It's grown men.
They're grown? How old are they, for real?
About 49.
Yeah.
look
And they still
like
going.
they're like 8
They are
years
still
old.
going.
They still didn't age up, huh?
I ain't even watch Beavis and Butthead. I know that it's not as bad
Wait, I thought
as
Kyle was
Oh, you
watching.
think it ain't?
Yeah.
I thought
I love
Kai.
my leaders and what here.
Zaire.
The two lamest people in the world.
Zaire. I was seeing.
In the show, but his actor is old as hell.
Caillou a bald head nigga.
It's not
Yeah.
Caillou.
Caillou.
It's Caillou.
That nigga named Caillou.
Yeah, he is.
Bald
kind
head
of
nigga been around since I've been around. You know he old.
Well,
It's the
you
nigga-
know
it's the
who
nigga
is
with the green hat.
bolder?
What about Dragon Tales? What you know about Dragon Tales?
Dragon Tail.
What's a dragon?
Dragon Tail, Dragon Tail.
Do you know who is bolder than
It's been a
Caillou?
long ass time. It's those dragons that were colorful as hell. And there was this kid that was around them, right?
Yeah,
That was a
man.
long ass time ago. What about
Oh,
He
I used to
became
watch.
the lion?
I used to watch
You know that
this.
The book show.
How did I not remember? I
Yeah.
used to watch this. I
That
used
shit
to
was fun.
love this.
It was all the Reading Rainbows on my TV. Reading Rainbows. It's the same show though. I compared it to. I already did my comparison of contrasting it up to. Yeah, because I was one way.
Prince, what you
My
eating?
friends from out of state, they
Prince,
always
stop
talking
chewing
about-
on that.
How she know
Get
you?
away.
How she know me? How she
Get
know
away
you
from
know
me.
me? You know these
Why you yelling?
What's up?
Why is it? What's that Leo shit? I swear to God. Y'all loud people. Y'all have loud
So-
nature.
I think we got
We have addicted, the temple of my body, bride in a cage, anger in chains, and the child I was meant to be. Like I was saying earlier, it has a lot to do with the inner child and the inner teenager.
Oh, you gotta
Um,
listen to the Dragon Tales song.
Dragon Tales?
So I can refresh your memory.
Oh!
Yeah, I remember that from like 2022. I used to watch
It was
it.
older than me.
How old was it? Then like 2019. I used to watch that. When was it? Weird. I really miss watching that.
I think that's also why I like dragons a lot. I never knew why, but I just fuck with dragons a lot.
That's sweet people. That's sweet people.
Yes.
No, you're not rapping the wrong fucking
Why
way.
does Stan look a little bald? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, we're not born no dragon.
I like drinking.
Walking down the streets.
I don't really know what it is.
What? You don't know about Hopkins?
Yeah.
What? What is
Hey,
after?
what a wonderful time today.
I literally used to watch the South Park and I still do.
You need to get off some new cartoons.
Right, you need to get on the kid cartoon.
Just let me watch this.
What the hell they got you watching?
So, what's it called? Yep.
Yes, I
They
do.
on TikTok all the time. That should be so funny. I
We get
swear.
everything from TikTok.
But
I get
Back
South
here.
Park from TikTok.
the child I was meant to be, anger in chains, bride in a cage, the temple of my body, and addicted. I feel like when it comes to, especially because of Bride in a Cage, we always had this persona where we were stuck as because of. It's like how layers of dust gets on something, so it's layers and layers.
Okay, children, let's take our seats.
Yes,
we have a
I
lot
do.
to learn today.
That's what I
We sure
want.
do, Mr. Hayes.
I'll be
Okay,
watching
children,
South
let's start
Park.
today with a few new math problems. What is 5 times 2?
5
Come on,
times 2?
children, don't be shy. Just give
I
me your
wouldn't
best
even
shot.
know the answer.
Yes, class.
I wouldn't know this.
Okay, now let's try to get an answer from
And
someone who's not a
this
complete
is kind of
retard.
also what I'll be watching.
Come on, don't be shy.
I think I know the answer, Mr. Garrison. Shut up, fat boy.
Don't call me fat, you fucking
Yes,
Jew.
I watched
Did you just say the F word?
Jew?
Jew?
No, he's talking about fuck. You
I
can't
guess they fucking
fool,
too.
you fucking
Yeah.
fat ass. Why the fuck not?
Aaron!
Dude, you just said fuck again.
Stanley!
They didn't even.
Anybody? Fuck.
How would you like to go see the school counselor?
How would you like to suck my balls?
What did you say?
Eric is literally so bad.
Actually, what I said was...
Eric Cartman, I don't know.
How would you like to set my balls, Mr. Garrison?
Holy shit, dude.
Carmen's so fucking bad for no reason. I swear.
wonder if he's Leo too. And I literally just found the episode.
And that's what the fuck you watching. I can say it too, shit. That's what she watching. Oh shit, she ain't watching the shit that she in.
Bride in the Cage.
I used to show Zaire some South Park content.
When we talk about being stuck in a cage, and when it comes to the layers of personas that we put on for other people, we have to realize within ourselves we are somebody different. The child who we were to the person that we are now, those are two different people. As a child, and you didn't have if you didn't have the right protection that you needed, you are now older and you can give that protection to yourself. There is this good quote that I had seen the other day, if I could remember it, but it was talking about how the child that you were wasn't protected. So now you take that step and thank that child for being strong to getting to where you are today. And right now, you have control to protect that child that you were. You have that control to protect yourself and give yourself everything that the child you didn't have. And when it comes to anger and change, I used to have a lot of anger within me. And it was more so where I had so much anger that it was destructive, not only to myself, but to people that were around me. And if you see me now, it's weird because I used to be so fucking upset about everything. I was just everywhere. Anger issues out the wazoo. So, and the temple of my body, when it comes to what I'd be saying in previous reading, what you feed yourself when it comes to your thoughts and your feelings, that is also nourishing your body. When it comes to telling yourself, hey, I'm going to have a good day today. Hey, I'm awesome. You know, those are good affirmations for yourself. Right?
Yeah, it's
But
gonna be an amazing day.
when you turn around and tell yourself something like, oh, I'm stupid, I'm dumb, I'm not going to be able to do this. If you keep telling yourself you can't and you're not, you're only going to keep feeding yourself that, and it's going to lead to how the subconscious affects. Subconsciously, you are going to think those things of yourself unless you go around and change those things, change your way of thinking, evolve, I should say, evolve the way you think into something that is positive, something that's going to be beneficial. Your inner voice should be kind to you and not mean. It should be something that is welcoming to you and not something that is harmful to you. And this took me a long time to understand because my inner voice, my inner critic was just of shit that other people had said to me. So I took that to heart. I took that and was like, this is the only version I could be. I changed my story. I changed who I was because it didn't feel right. So it's always a battle for me to keep a positive mindset, which is like not always being 100% happy, but being when I'm in a tough situation and I just can't really think to myself, hey, I'm going to get through this. It's more so of just like, I switch that up and I'm just like, I can't handle it. So when you are going through tough situations, when you are in tough positions, you can't really stick to it and say, this isn't going to work, or this is horrible, this is blah, 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 blah. You have to say to yourself, I'm going to get through this no matter what. Be persistent. Be in refusal of letting that hardship define you or take you off of your path. It's a need for you to be honest and truthful with yourself because nobody's going to do it for you. You have to get to know and look at yourself for who you see you are. Excuse me. And I say this in a deep part because when it comes to loving yourself, it's an uphill battle.
Well, ain't nobody telling me my eyes are really.
Is you high?
I look like I'm going jelly.
I don't know.
I'm back to jelly. I'm on the jelly. I'm just saying.
I'm dead.
My eyes are red though.
We got
I have allergies too.
uh,
So no issues.
understandable.
My eyes are just big as hell the other day, remember?
Oh yeah. Did he go to the other one?
Yep. When
Damn.
it went down.
Type
I'm supposed to
shit.
go, I actually do what kind of talent was supposed to be on it. At first I had the cold towel on it and I had the ice pack. That didn't work.
It's supposed to be warm or something?
Yeah, it's supposed to be warm.
Oh.
When it comes to your eyes, it's supposed to be warm.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is considering everything good. You gotta have the cold shit.
Alright.
But yeah, it was supposed to be warm. Yeah. Was I with that warm shit? I want to talk to my out people. No, but and that's what it took to get right. You know what I'm saying? Super fish.
Okay. So you have Zachiel, Angel of Memory, Escabus, Angel of Divination, Hasmid, Angel of Annihilation, Remph, Angel of Time, and Heart Tiferet, Angel Heart Beauty. The only reason I'm reading these cards is because they fell out, but they weren't upright. But I feel like they need to be heard. But the song that I'm hearing is Being Human, Steven Universe, Rebecca Sugar. So in that song, Being Human, it's just about, which I also want to say being humane, but in being human, it's just giving yourself time to connect with your own emotional body, connect with your mental body, and actually realize that they're not separate parts of you. They're a part of the person that makes you whole. And this was also in Steven Universe Future when Steven was going through all those mental issues that caught up with him from the previous movie and previous seasons. So you're actually taking this step of looking at your inner self and being like, hey, are you okay? From time to time, you also have to ask yourself that. You can't just have somebody ask it for you. You have to ask yourself, am I okay? And when it comes to the spiritual world that is around you, the metaphysical world, you are highly protected. I don't think that it's something that you should worry about not being protected. As long as you're doing right, as long as you're doing what you can. Hold on. As long as you are clearing your, are you, as long as you are seeing and being your authentic self, it's not anything that you should be worried about. And I feel like your memories also serve a purpose because when you look at your memories, you have to realize they are the past. They are only fragments that make the whole you. So don't look at your memories as something that was bad or, some memories are bad, but the memories that make you the person you are today, which is like, say that you had a choice between doing something good or bad and you do something that's good instead. That is a choice and memory that shapes you. And I also feel when it comes to time, you can't rush everything. You can't always know everything because we are meant to just literally experience life as it is. Some stuff doesn't end up right, but you know, we are just experiencing. It's okay to experience. Like I said earlier, we are put on this earth to have an experience. We are put on here to literally live, not for anyone else, but for ourselves, and you know, be our authentic selves. You can help others along the way, but you ultimately have to stay true to yourself. And if you can't be true to yourself, then how are you going to be true to others? Now let's get some affirmation. Affirmation. Today I am excited. Today is going to be the best day ever. Shit. Today I move forward. Today I see each obstacle as an opportunity to learn and grow. Today I will forgive. Today I will forgive any past mistakes I've made and love myself unconditionally. And on the back you have, today I am at peace. Today I am in peace with all that has happened, all that is happening, and all that will happen. I love this one so much. This is also my favorite one. Today I am at peace. Today I am at peace with all that has happened, all that is happening, and all that will happen. Nothing is set in stone. Like what I was saying about earlier with Spider-Verse, you can write your own story. It doesn't have to be a canon event. There is no drawn out plan. Well, there is a plan for you, but it's not just laid out in like a straightforward path. It's what you are making that plan to be. So I really think that's all for today, and this is a really long reading, but thank you so much for watching. Keep it juicy and a koozie, and peace the fuck out.